Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The African Finance Summit has taken off in Paris, focusing on review of African economy following shocks from coronavirus pandemic. President Muhammadu Buhari and other African leaders were received by French President Emmanuel Macron as they arrived Grand Palais Ephemer for the plenary session, which is also discussing getting relief, especially from increased debt burden on countries. The summit drew major stakeholders in the global finance institutions and participating heads of government to collectively discuss external funding and debt treatments for Africa and private sector reforms. Also on the agenda are political relations, economic ties, climate change, and partnership in sustaining the health sector, particularly in checking the spread of COVID-19 with more research and vaccines. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has confirmed that federal government has received £4.2 million of the loot associated with the family members of former Delta State Governor James Ibori. In a statement, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice says the amount has been credited into the designated federal government account with Naira equivalent value of the amount as at 10th May 2021. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice also signed a memorandum of understanding for the repatriation of the Ibori loot on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. The development, Malami says, was a demonstration of the recognition of reputation that Nigeria earns through records of management of recovered stolen funds. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate requesting the approval of the implementation of the new external borrowing of 2.3 trillion naira in the 2021 Appropriation Act. The fund is to part finance the 2021 budget deficit of 5.602 trillion naira. He also sought the approval of the implementation of the donor fund projects under the 2018 to 2020 federal government's external borrowing plan rolling plans. The funds will be channeled towards employment generation, poverty alleviation, and protection of the most vulnerable persons in Nigeria. Meanwhile, Senate has confirmed the nomination of the appointment of 12 persons as members of the National Human Rights Commission, with Salamatu Hussaini Suleiman as chairman. The Nigeria Governors Forum has appealed to the organized labor to exercise restraints in the ongoing labor protest against Kaduna government staff audits. A statement by its chairman and governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, says the present economic reality occasioned by the 2020 COVID-19 impacts is now compelling states to adopt measures of cushioning the effects and called on labor leaders to remain calm. The chairman notes that at this critical time, negotiation should serve as the only instrument in resolving the current impasse and called for understanding on both sides to rebalance economic activities for development and social well-being of the states and its people. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum has appealed to all patriotic Nigerians, including the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), to demonstrate more commitment towards engaging government at all levels to address problems. The APC Governors Forum Chairman, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, in a statement said, "At this critical point of Nigeria's democratic journey, there cannot be limits to engagement between all governments and citizens," and called for urgent steps to resolve the current face-off between Kaduna State's government and NLC. The APC governors appealed to both the state government and NLC to return to the negotiating table as progressive governors. The statement added that they share the vision of Kaduna State government of reforming all local governments, to make them more efficient and consequently the pivot of critical development initiatives, and appealed to Kaduna State government under the leadership of Malam Nasir El-Rufai to take all the necessary steps to ensure the resolution of all disagreements in the larger interest of citizens in Kaduna State. This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Let's now go over to our Kaduna Network Center, where Amina is standing by to tell us more on the second day of the NLC strike in the state. Good evening, Amina.
Thanks, Ayo. Welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Governor Nasru Ahmed El-Rufai says the state government will not change its position, neither will it negotiate with labor union on the strike of workers. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that the governor has also declared the NLC National President Ayuba Waba wanted for alleged economic sabotage. The report.
Workers, but insists that such is only sustainable in the context of the general welfare of other residents.
He should report to the nearest police station or report to us. He will be prosecuted for economic sabotage.
Is there any ground for compromise between the two parties?
There is no grounds for compromise. They have used their last ultimate weapon. It will not change anything. We will not change our position, and that's it.
The governor condemned the NLC protest, declaring it as unlawful. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Nigeria Labour Congress strike in Kaduna over the sack of workers enters day 2 with a commitment by the leadership of the union that its doors remain open for dialogue if initiated by the Kaduna State government. NLC National President Comrade Ayuba Waba made this known while addressing workers at the State Secretariat in Kaduna. Adamu Sunday reports.
Members of various labor unions carrying placards with different inscriptions converge on NLC Kaduna State Secretariat, from the Labor House to the State Secretariat and other ministries as well as agencies of government. The NLC leadership urges workers to remain calm as they comply with the total strike directive.
No state in Nigeria or no employer of Nigeria have done this type of action, and we have not been there to challenge the action and also call for its reversal.
The issue is simple. You sack 7,700, reinstate them. You are planning to sack 11,000. Don't do that. Simple.
I'm calling the attention to the governor of Kaduna State to bring it into dialogue.
The law in socio-economic activities continues as a result of the NLC strike. Public power supply is shut down, while schools, hospitals, train services and Kaduna Airport remain closed. Meanwhile, the protest by Nigerian Labour Congress was disrupted Tuesday afternoon by suspected hoodlums. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
200 households displaced by crisis from 6 communities of Zangon-Katav in Kaduna State received assistance to uplift their well-being from Nigeria Early Recovery Initiative in collaboration with Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency. From Kafanchan, Kim Gwatz reports.
It was a sign of relief for Afiniki Levy and Asma Yusuf, who before now could not afford these household items. Nigeria Early Recovery Initiative, as the name implies, is reaching the vulnerable to cushion the effects of displacement from their ancestral home. It is a component of United States Agency International Development as Kaduna State Emergency Relief Agency partner to ensure only those affected are accessed. Beneficiaries thanked initiators of the program, saying lessons have been learned on the importance of living in peace and harmony. Program implementers, while appealing for citizens to always live peacefully, say materials donated should be utilized prudently.
Many local governments in Kaduna State were having these challenges of internally displaced people arising from communal clashes, banditry, and all these insurgents.
We are also rehabilitating some toilet blocks just to improve the sanitation around the camp environment. install some street lights to lighten the dark areas and make it more comfortable for them. We're also providing water.
Another round of the program is expected in next few weeks. From Kafanchan, Kim Goetz, NTA News.
Reports just reaching us, the Kaduna State government announces dismissal of nurses below grade level 14 and any academic staff of state-owned universities for unlawful strike, as it declares NLC presidents and others wanted. In a statement signed by Muyiwa Adeke, Special Advisor to the Governor, Media and Communications, says it considers as unacceptable the serial violation of the Miscellaneous Offences Act and trade unions, as that have occurred over the last 2 days. The state government commands citizens for remaining calm amidst the assault on their right and comfort on their businesses. He says government cannot be expected to tolerate the brazen shutdown of electricity, attack on public infrastructure and buildings, locking up of hospitals, and forcefully discharging patients, unlawful trespass and into public facilities, and the wanton use of coercion and restraints of personal freedom by the NLC. The government says all should remain committed to using all the resources it can generate to serve the interests of majority of its citizens, providing social services beyond paying salaries, always putting the interests of many ahead of the few. We apologize for the... And that's it from Kaduna. It's back to IODG in Abuja.
Thanks, Amina. The federal government has disclosed plans to launch the Maritime Security Project in June this year. Minister of Transportation Chibuike Rotimi Amechi made this known when he received the Belgian ambassador to Nigeria in Abuja. The minister noted that the project is aimed at tackling the complex insecurity challenges in the Gulf of Guinea, stating that the Navy, the police, the army and the state security service are involved in the operation. The Belgian ambassador to Nigeria, Daniel Bertrand, presented a letter to the minister requesting for the support of the Nigerian government for the Belgian candidate for the position at the International Maritime Organization. Bertrand also mentioned that they have observed with keen interest what is happening in the Gulf of Guinea. I would like to be of assistance and give support to the implementation of the maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. Time now to go over to our Lagos Network Center where Adiola is standing by. Hello, Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ayo. The Nigerian Navy has received its newly acquired hydrographic ship, NNS Lana, in Lagos. The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, stated that the ship will afford the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic Department to successfully and systematically conduct hydrographic and oceanographic surveys, as well as chartings of Nigeria's waters to maximum advantage. Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora has details.
This newly acquired 60 meters offshore survey vessel 190, Nigerian Navy ship Lano, meaning Pathfinder in Yoruba language, was received by the Chief of the Naval Staff and officials from sister agencies. After it departed France a month ago, it paid port calls to 4 countries on its maiden voyage to Lagos. These visits were aimed towards consolidating the nation's diplomatic relations with littoral states and allies.
The process of acquiring a new ship is not a routine daily occurrence. It is a capital-intensive activity which takes time, involves critical decisions, specializations and skill sets that transcend a single individual or entity.
The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, stated that the new vessel will not only enhance the safety of Nigeria's maritime environment, but will serve as a critical component in the projection of naval power for enhanced maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea.
And anywhere our services is required in order to boost hydrographic efforts, within the Nigerian maritime space. where we get patronage from the Gulf of Guinea and other countries as may be, will render such service, of course, at a cost. So she is a revenue generation asset to the country.
NNS Lano, with an average speed of 10 knots, is a replacement of the previous survey ship, NNS Lano, that was decommissioned few years ago. This latest addition to the Nigerian Navy fleet is an affirmation of the federal government's commitment towards the nation's economic development. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
And still staying with the force, the professionalization of the armed forces and mastery of military tactics and strategies at various peace operations underscores the importance of logistics and civil relations. This came to the fore at the 21st Conflict Management and Resolution Seminar by the Nigerian Army College of Logistics in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
Nigeria has been bedeviled by the activities of insurgents, which has kept the armed forces on its toes to win the battle and keep the menace at bay. The Nigerian Army College of Logistics, senior officers and security agencies are collaborating to come up with formidable ideas that can enhance tactical operations in the country.
This seminar seeks to address these sensitive issues related to conflict management and its resolution.
The Chief of Army Staff noted that evolving modalities for synergy between military and security agencies with a view to promptly facilitating intelligence sharing during joint operations to achieve success in the military cannot be relegated.
The constant drafting of the military in conflict or crisis situation demands elaborate actions to equate the personnel with the rudiments of conflict management.
Issues bordering on prospects of defense intelligence during war times and civil-military relations in the age of complex security challenges dominated discussions. Winning the war against security challenges, speakers agreed, requires application of critical strategies. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Nationwide will continue in a moment. Please stay with us.
Thanks for staying tuned. Governors on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have called on the National Assembly to expedite action on the passage of the Electoral Act to ensure a free and fair election. This was part of the resolutions at a meeting in Ibadan, Oyo State. Ayomiku Ajibola has the details.
This is the second PDP Governors Forum meeting held outside Abuja since the forum started, rising from the meeting where they deliberated on issues affecting the country, particularly insecurity, governance, restructuring, among others. The forum urged the president to send an executive bill to the National Assembly to amend the Nigerian Constitution to devolve more power to the state with respect to security arrangements.
The meeting agreed that the police force still remains an appropriate institution to secure our democracy and should not be subjected to personal attacks. The welfare, training, equipment, funding of all security agencies should be given priority.
The forum, according to its chairman, supported the earlier position taken by the Nigeria Governors Forum and recently by the Southern Governors Forum to adopt ranching as the most viable solution to the herders-farmer clashes in the country. They enjoin Nigerians to work together to achieve peace and harmony devoid of discrimination in the country. 12 governors from the PDP state across the country attended the meeting. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Springing from the ongoing strike action by the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, the push from legal practitioners on Good Morning Nigeria has given off the discrepancies and grievances in the judicial sector to a misnomer and misconception in allocation of funds, which they say has degenerated to a total standstill in the dispensation of justice to the citizenry. This formed the mainstay of the conversation on Good Morning Nigeria while discussing the autonomy of the judiciary and legislature. Daniel Aderiye tells us more.
The arrangement that obtains on the ground now, before now, was an arrangement whereby it is at the pleasure of the executive, state executive, to make financial provision in terms of capital expenditure and associated things for the legislature and the judiciary. And the arrangement we are trying to put in place now is to strengthen this institution for the judiciary now to be able to stand on its own to determine cases efficiently, justifiably, and judiciously without fear or favor, against the background of the fact that I have limited need for engagement with the governor as far as financial provision on capital expenditure, among others, is concerned.
The narrative for the autonomy of the judicial and legislature remains dominant. And while the end of the storyline may not yet be in view, guests have highlighted that seeing to the expediency in the adequate budget allocation provision to the judicial sector is key. But this must not be done at the expense of other sectors of the economy. As such, a numerical balance must be made to ensure the even distribution of the nation's resources, which ultimately ensures the fluidity of national development.
You do not just take a percentage of our budget, whether or not it is needed in a particular year, you give it to just one branch of government, while the rest of us, 200 million Nigerians, will now be suffering. So you have to balance about ensuring autonomy for the judiciary and also ensuring that the citizens get their dues. You have to make that balance, and that balance has been made by our constitution.
They called for pending matters in the judicial sector which have so far resulted in the strike action to be resolved promptly and within the spheres of the constitution. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has adopted a resolution to investigate the alleged sporadic shooting by officials of the Nigerian Customs Service in Isenyi local government area of Oyo State, which left 5 people dead. The issue was raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Representative Shino Pella, who explained that the residents of Ojaoba were on Thursday last week, while celebrating the Eid festival, thrown into mourning mood. This was as a result of the death of 5 persons following alleged sporadic shooting in the town by some personnel of the Nigerian Customs Service who were in pursuit of a vehicle laden with bags of rice. The House Committee on Customs has been mandated to investigate the incident. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Ahmed Idris Wase, brought to the notice of members 2 presidential communications requesting approvals for the implementation of external borrowing plans. Now, in a bid to protect communities and travelers along Kaduna-Abuja Expressway following the disruption of other means of transportation by industrial action in Kaduna State, the Nigeria Police Force has ordered the deployment of additional police operatives and crime prevention assets to ensure public safety and strengthen security along the way. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Umba, explains that the deployment is designed to enhance police visibility, prevent and neutralize possible crime along the road, and targeted at citizens plying the road. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Intelligence Bureau has been directed to immediately deploy covert operatives from the Intelligence Response Team and the Special Tactical Squad to prevent any untoward situation along the expressway. Not less than 16 persons died in road crashes in Akwa Ibom State between January 2020 and April 2021. In a data released by the FRSC to commemorate this year's Africa Road Safety Week, the fatalities were caused by overspeeding. Clement Barikwi reports.
Data which covers January through April 2020 and January through April 2021 shows a 200% increase in the number of people who lost their lives in the first 4 months of 2021 compared to 2020. The crashes, according to the sector commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Akwa Ibom State, Matthew Olonishaye, was majorly due to overspeeding.
We have put in place several measures to ensure the reduction of speed-related crashes, which includes compulsory installation of speed-limiting devices, especially we commence with that of commercial vehicles for now.
Tagged Street for Life, the 2021 United Nations Global Traffic Safety Week called for 30 km/h speed limit to be the norm for cities. towns and villages. The FRSC has listed prevalent crash-prone points in Uyo metropolis to include Uraikpa, Ibiakpan, Ipeanang, and Shelter Freak junctions, advising motorists and other road users to be wary of those areas. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Inspector General of Police inaugurates Operation Restore Peace in the Southeast. Chineye is our guide from Enugu Network Center. Hello, Chineye. It's good to see you.
Hello, Ayodeji. Welcome to Enugu. In the continuous efforts of the federal and state governments to curb the security challenges in the country, which has assumed a dangerous position of late, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has launched a new security operation in Enugu State, codenamed Operation Restore Peace for the Southeast region. Mina Odelbiu Kobasi was at the launch and now reports.
These governors and other top functionaries today gathered at the Okbara Square in Enugu to witness the launch of a new security operation codenamed Operation Restore Peace, RP, for the region by the new Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba. IGP Baba said it is in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and mandate of the police force to launch a necessary peace system in any given dire threat to security of the nation, as witnessed in recent times.
As we set out to formally launch Operation Restore Peace, otherwise codenamed Operation RP, in Enugu on this day, I pray that the Almighty God should restore peace across the Southeast and in our beloved country.
A display by the Police Mobile Force, PMF, was a clear indication of their readiness to achieve the set goals of Operation Restore Peace in the region. Host Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi welcomed the Inspector General of Police to the event and assured him and President Muhammadu Buhari of the cooperation of Enugu people and the region towards any plans to restore and retain peace and security in the region.
Could not have come at a better time than now, given the growing insecurity in the country. In the past weeks, we've been saddened by the spate of killing of security personnel in the line of duty and destruction of security infrastructure.
The IG, however, appealed to sister agencies, community leaders, and stakeholders to assist in achieving this national assignment of Operation RP, while urging the Operation RP team to discharge their duties within the ambits of the law and not use it against the people. In Enugu, Mina Adobu Kobasi, NTA News.
The Enugu State Police Command says it has launched full-scale investigation to fish out the assailants who attacked the Independent National Electoral Commission headquarters in Enugu. James Opare-Kocha, who spoke with the resident electoral commissioner, is standing by with that report.
It's not the first INEC office that has been affected, and one keeps wondering why the attack is basically on public institutions. This is the premises of the Independent National Electoral Commission here in Enugu State. Here, some unknown hoodlums came into the compound in an attempt to burn down the building, where they succeeded in touching some of the vehicles. About 6 or so Hilux vehicles were burned down. An attempt was also made at the building, but for the strength of the structure of the main building, as some furnitures in the ground floor were also affected.
We had a distress call from our internal security that some hoodlums in some buses, numbering over 20, invaded the compound of INEC. Investigation has already commenced.
Do you have an inclination on why the focus is now on INEC?
Unfortunately, it is busier and mind-boggling that someone will ever think of, inflicting pains on an institution that is for the entire people.
Whatever the reason is, public institutions belong to the people. Here in Enugu, I am James Opare-Kocha, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Enugu. Nationwide continues in Abuja.
You're welcome back. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has renewed his call for the repatriation of all looted Nigerian artifacts taken abroad, while commending those countries that have heeded the call by returning such antiquities. In a statement signed by Segun Adeyemi, Special Assistant to the Minister to mark the 2021 International Museum Day, the minister also appealed to Nigerians, especially the elite, to join the ongoing campaign to repatriate all looted Nigerian artifacts. Lai Mohammed said the campaign for the repatriation of looted artifacts, which was launched by the federal government in October 2019, has yielded results, with the spate of return of stolen Nigerian antiquities from around the world. He expressed appreciation to the German government and German museums, both of which are presently in the forefront of repatriating Nigerian antiquities. Museums are a heaven of almost priceless monuments, artifacts, and as the world marks the World International Museum Day, Director General, National Commission for Museum and Monuments, Professor Abba Issa Tijani, while enumerating some of the challenges being faced, pointed out that the protection and preservation of what he termed our physical history is an all-inclusive effort. As such, he noted that for our national history and monuments to be adequately preserved, there must be a measure of technological influence in the identification, valuation, preservation, and storage of these monuments and artifacts all over.
Virtual museums, that is what we are looking at, so that at the comfort of your living room, you will be able to go and navigate through our museums and see the objects, touch them actually, and then see what is coming up, the information, background, history, and so on. So it's actually going to be a kind of an interactive one. That is what we are looking at.
He also highlighted that efforts are still ongoing to see the total repatriation of most of the nation's artifacts, which were carted away during the colonial era.
Now we have started, and we are very lucky that Germany has boldly come out to say that they are going to repatriate all our Benin bronzes. And we are in, the process now. We have been having a series of meetings. The delegates are here in Nigeria presently, and we have been meeting with them. So by next year, 2022, the objects will start coming.
He stressed on the need for education and increased advocacy among Nigerians on the need to protect and preserve national monuments and artifacts. 4 days of activities marking the 57th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force have culminated in the unveiling of a telemedicine portal aimed at boosting the health care of NAF personnel and members of host communities. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
In these COVID-19 times, reduced physical contact or social distancing is the new normal, and with healthcare taking a hit from the virus, medical experts, including those in the military, have been forced to step up their healthcare plan. Enter the telemedicine portal, a state-of-the-art platform aimed at bridging the healthcare gap, especially in the warfront and remote areas.
Telemedicine is also advantageous in addressing the manpower shortages frequently experienced in the medical, just like in any other professions.
The telemedicine portal will also limit physical consultation, yet will allow users benefit from a remote but comprehensive medical examination.
I therefore urge all personnel to take full advantage of this cutting-edge technology as the project is rolled out in phases at Nigerian Air Force units across the country.
The launch of the portal is part of activities marking 57 years of the Nigerian Air Force, which has seen it evolve into a formidable fighting force in the air and on land with special forces. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
Agatha is standing by in our Benin Network Center for continuation on Nationwide. Hello, Agatha. Take it up from here.
All right, thank you, Ayodeji, for joining us in Benin. Ekiti State government says it will continue to facilitate measures in response to cushion the effects of COVID-19, especially on the most vulnerable of the state's population. Governor Kayode Fayemi said this at the inauguration of Steering Committee of the State COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program at the Government House in Ado-Ekiti. Ayodeji Ogunshakin reports.
The program, tagged The State Cares, supported by the World Bank, is aimed at mitigating the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on the socio-economic well-being of the people by supporting budgeted government interventions at the state level. Governor Fayemi said the project will target the vulnerable and the poor households, farmers, artisans, micro and small enterprises affected by the economic crisis occasioned by the pandemic. The governor said the steering committee will provide policy direction and have oversight across all the program resort areas and will also be responsible for reviewing and approving annual work plans.
The state government will intervene through State Care Steering Committee to achieve the following, among others: enhance delivery of social safety net, social assistance, and basic services, increased food security and safe functioning of food supply chain.
Members of the steering committee pledged to discharge their responsibilities in achieving the objectives of the program for the benefits of Ekiti people. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshakin, NTA News.
In the meantime, Ondo State Primary Health Care Development Agency is targeting June this year to commence administration of the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Toyin Batiri reports that about 35,000 doses of the vaccine was administered in the first phase.
Research reveals that getting the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine helps boost the immunity to higher rates.
People have taken the first dose of phase 1 of COVID-19 vaccine. That was done in the month of March. And during the course of the implementation, anybody that got vaccinated will have a vaccination card. We are targeting the month of June for the second dose of phase 1 for COVID-19 vaccination.
The immunization officer on Ondo State Primary Healthcare Board, Mrs. Funke Olagundoyi, says the exercise will surely commence and it will be administered only on those that have already taken the first dose.
The first training will be conducted for those people before the commencement of the second dose.
She further stated that it is the same Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine that will be continued. In Akure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
That's it from here. Ayodeji, it's back to you.
Thanks, Agatha. Back here in Abuja, let's tell you that in view of the country's rich political and cultural history, some Nigerians believe the nation's diversity is a veritable tool for promoting unity and good governance. This is part of the views of participants at a summit in Abuja who also want leaders at all levels to preach togetherness rather than division. Olabode Arewa has details.
In Nigeria, periods of electionary campaigns and voting are believed to be times when some members of the political class stir up some of the deep-seated differences among Nigerians and use them for political gain. This sentiment is shared by Dr. Onyecheze, a young Nigerian who has witnessed firsthand the electionary process in Nigeria.
At times they will start shooting. Some of them will want to carry ballot box, and if the opportunity is not given to them, they will start shooting. You see people, sustaining injuries.
Other participants who also align with this view say the nation's challenges should be used as a tool to engender strength and development.
Demanding accountability is something that we need to look at. So transparency and accountability is a major end in terms of deepening democracy.
This is one country. We want a one Nigeria, and we are concerned about the things going on in this country. We hope that our citizens will be able to unite and find a common solution to the challenge that we are faced with as a country, and that will remain as one country.
The ideology of ethnicity that they have chosen is self-destroying. I mean, at the end of the day, there will be no country. And if there's no country, you can't pursue anything.
The meeting with the team, State of the Nation, Deepening Democracy and Accountable Governance in Abuja, Labrador. NTA News.
Renewable energy has been identified as the future for Nigeria for enhanced energy security and field diversification. This came to the fore at the launch of a new Nigerian industrial standards by the Standards Organization of Nigeria in collaboration with the European Union, Nigerian Energy Support Program and Germany's International Cooperation Services. Obiageli Ugwoke reports.
Nigeria has continuously strived for energy sufficiency for its teeming population. In furtherance of this effort, 38 new Nigerian industrial standards for solar photovoltaic system components has just been developed. These new solar component standards will complement government efforts to generate access to energy by creating a regulated solar PV market in Nigeria. Ensure standards for electricity meters, inverters, inverter batteries, and other related appliances, while bemoaning epileptic power supply in some parts of Nigeria. The Director General of Standards Organization of Nigeria, Farouk Salim, says making use of quality components guarantees the lifespan of technologies and will attract more investment required to grow the Nigerian economy.
I feel solar is a complementary energy for now while the technology is being developed and when it's cheaper and more available to people, then it will be the way to go. But currently it's still more expensive to start.
All the appliances to be applied in this respective solar industry will be standardized in a way that we have a uniform, equipment that has high performance, efficiency.
Regular monitoring program has also been put in place to build confidence of end users as importers, manufacturers, retailers, project developers will begin to use standardized project and components.
The culture of conformity to standard and specification, apart from assuring effectiveness, efficiency in their use, also impact positively on the materials, equipment, and installations, as well as safety.
The event provided an overview of the adopted standards and the role of standardization in ensuring minimum quality for technology suppliers, training centers, and renewable energy projects in education, healthcare, residential, and industrial application. Obiageli Ugwoke, NTA News.
Ahead of the 2021 wet season, the Gombe State government has organized a seminar on weather forecasts, cropping guides and modern farming techniques for farmers and other stakeholders in the state. Murjandatu Adam Said reports that the seminar was conducted by the State Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry under the coordination of the Commissioner, Muhammad Magaji.
The commissioner told participants that Gombe State government is poised in keeping farmers in the state abreast of modern farming techniques to guide against avoidable losses during and after each cropping season, as they need to understand what and when to cultivate each farm produce. He decried the poor handling and disbursement of the 200 billion naira federal government agricultural intervention fund, as most beneficiaries of the gesture are not genuine farmers. Commending Governor Muhammad Inu Yahaya for his superlative performance in the agricultural sector, the commissioner equally blamed some farmers who are in the habit of selling agricultural interventions given to them by the government, describing such act as inimical to the development of the agricultural sector. Delivering the weather prediction report by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, on the breakdown of rainfall in Gombe State and what farmers should do, Dr. Joseph Hussein Kaltungo said farmers in South and Central will have no problem planting early, middle or late. In Abuja, Murjandatu Adam Said, NTA News.
Time now to join Samuel Johnson